What happens when a student who casually entered the registry is called upon to help save a life? Evan Brown, a student at the College of William and Mary, is placed exactly in this position. How does Evan respond? Find out in this episode of True Life, I'm a Donor.
I graduated in 2009, so last May. I was a finance major and econ minor, although I never declared my econ minor, and I was a member of a social fraternity and a tour guide. So a friend of mine was on the steering committee my freshman year and asked me and my other friends to go out to the bone marrow drive registration day, and I got registered, didn't think much about it, figured I'd never be contacted and just wanted some free food, and got registered, gave a little blood, and got put on the list. But yeah, October my junior year in college, I was in line at the Quiznos on campus actually, and I got a phone call from the National Bone Marrow Registry while I was waiting in line saying that I had come up as a match for someone, and they wanted to do more testing to see if I was the best match, because they do several rounds of sort of filtering, and they wanted to know if I'd be willing to sort of continue with the process. And I told them I was ordering a sandwich and would have to get back to them. And I thought about it a little. I talked to Joe Pirro, who used to be the chair of the steering committee, and he talked to me about the process, and I decided it was definitely something I wanted to do. So I went to the health center. I gave a few more vials of blood so they could do more testing, and they determined that I was a good enough match to sort of consider actually doing the process. I had to then go to Richmond to do a full physical with EKGs. They took another, I think, dozen vials of blood, did sort of a full health workup to make sure I was healthy enough to donate, and then set a date, and I donated the day before Thanksgiving of my junior year. It's a 60-year-old, somewhere around there, man with acute myelogenous leukemia, and I guess sort of, I don't know if it's how it works genetically or in terms of blood and bone marrow type, we are pretty close matches. He recovered, the procedure went well. I donated peripheral blood stem cells, which is the same thing they take from bone marrow, but it's a less invasive procedure. It's kind of creepy. They sort of take blood out of one arm and put it back in the other and spin it through a machine while they're doing that, and it takes 4 or 5 hours, but definitely less invasive than the surgical procedure. And the procedure went well. He recovered. About a year later, he, I don't know, relapsed, I don't know if that's the word. They asked me to donate again, but his condition deteriorated so quickly that they actually decided it wasn't even worth it to do a second donation, and I believe he passed away a few months later. But the initial procedure gave him, I guess they said, about an extra year, so it's definitely a fulfilling experience. No, I didn't have to pay for anything. They covered all medical portions. I had to drive to the hospital, obviously, but they expensed all I had to do was fill out a little mileage sheet. They even paid for gas and everything like that. When I was contacted the second time, I was actually in California for the summer, and they set me up to go to a California hospital to start the second round of, I guess, testing. They had to retest even though I'd already donated, but it was a really simple procedure. They actually sent like a Lincoln Town car to pick me up at my apartment and bring me to the hospital, which obviously isn't why I did it, but like, it's completely hassle-free. They cover everything, and they couldn't make it easier. No, I mean, leading up to the peripheral blood stem cell donation, they would give me injections, 2 injections each day for 5 days. To sort of, I don't know medically what it's supposed to do, basically get the stuff they need out of your bone marrow into your bloodstream. So it's painful, sort of in like if, you have a day of intensely heavy lifting, you feel sore the next day. It's kind of like that feeling, I'm sure you know. So, and the shots, like 2 of them were in my stomach. That wasn't great, but you know, it's a couple shots, it hurts for a second, and then you're sore for a couple days. After the donation, I felt fine within a day. So it, you know, it's discomforting, but not at all, like the pain was not at all something that I think would ever dissuade someone from doing it. Definitely went smoothly. Part of it is because I was a William & Mary student. We have such a great sort of network here. If there are multiple students from William & Mary who have donated before. Obviously we have one of the biggest drives in the country, so we have a great support system. Throughout the entire process, people at the hospital in Richmond, the hospital in Northern Virginia where I did the actual procedure, talked about how they hear about William & Mary a lot. They deal with a lot of William & Mary people, so having that sort of support system helped a lot, and people sort of bent over backwards to, obviously the end goal is helping out this guy, so people did whatever it took to make sure the process went smoothly, and no, I wouldn't say it was taxing at all. I think one thing that I would definitely want to leave people with is they said about maybe 1 in 10,000 people on the list are a match. So I think the best thing people can do, and something I think we should all sort of try to do, is even if you can't be a match, donating your time and sort of spreading the word to get more people on the list, I think is as easily as value a contribution as actually donating, because if you help to get someone on the list who ends up donating, I think you've done your part.